talking to NASA. Like I say, I work from home, but I look at flight software and spacecraft for mistakes.
Wow. Wow, for like programming stuff?
Yeah, look in the code and look at requirements and stuff too. But like I found things here and there before they launch that were big mistakes. So that's what they pay us for.
Wow.
It's a fun, a little bit frantic but fun job.
It's cool that you can do it from home, and
yeah.
and that gives you the flexibility to do the other music thing too.
Right.
I know, like I have a family and I've got all these different things going on. So
yeah.
Having that typical 9 to 5 gig and then trying.
Oh, it's impossible.
Yeah, it is. It's so I'm trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. That's.
Well, I intend to tour, and then I'll play my show at night, and in the hotel I'll do my 4 hours of work in the daytime, and I won't have to worry about did I make gas money at last night's show. I'll keep my day job. So.
We have Jess Sides that's going to be on here next week, and she's a local singer-songwriter from Pittsburgh, and she posted, I saw online that she's going to sleep during the day when the kids are in school, and then be nocturnal completely. I mean, because you really have to figure, like, how do you get in the time to sleep?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I'm the same way. So you're working for NASA and writing songs, and I saw that we've actually been on some of the same sites. The Neil Young site, I think you and I were both on there.
Yeah.
And there was some guy, I think in Italy, that was playing both of our...
oh yeah, I'm both getting airplay. I have a promoter in Europe and Sweden, and it's Hemifran is the company, hemifran.com, but they're helping me get quite a bit of airplay in Europe and some good reviews, and now I'm trying to follow up and see how well I play. It's going to have to be countries with high levels of English literacy, because I write real lyric-driven stuff and not a lot of instrumentals. So so Holland's the first place I'm going to land in, but it seems like Holland, Belgium, Sweden, I could
awesome.
Do something there.
That sounds really cool.
We'll go find out and see how I'll let you know afterwards how it.
I want to go back to, like, my homeland is the UK, it's Scotland, and that's where my family roots are, and I wanted to go play some of the pubs and do like a bike tour.
Oh, cool.
Like bike tour and play.
I wanted to play Ireland, but all my friends that go told me it's harder and harder to make it work each year, and and these are well-known folks, so the economics have hurt everybody.
Yeah. So being and that's a good segue into being a singer-songwriter, and how do you find, like, the music industry right now as far as, like, the DIY type of focus? Back in the earlier days compared to now, it seems like that you can do stuff like that. You can reach out to a wider, broader audience.
Well, I think that there's good and bad of it. I actually, in LA, I interned for a couple record companies and studios, and then I worked 3 years at 20th Century Fox to get an inside look at the entertainment business. And since I wasn't an aspiring actor, I was welcome as long as I stayed away from the music department. So that's been a while there, and so I saw the inner workings of some of the record companies and the business and the attorneys and all that, and then but what I see, there's a positive part is everybody can make a CD and have a web page and a Facebook artist page.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part is everybody does. So there's no what you do is you have so many CDs that some are, if you hear them, I'm sure all three of us in the room would be instant fans of somebody, and we'll never hear them because we have to listen to the thousands and thousands of people just starting out and couldn't wait to make their first CD, whereas maybe if they would have wrote some more songs before making their first effort, they would have actually been better for them. But so I think we get cluttered up with a lot of things that it's hard to wade through everything to get to the really good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm finding that out. I started taking submissions on Sonic Bids, so I'll plug that, you know, Sonic Bids / Acoustic Songs Live. It's on the webpage. But and I become the filter, right, you know, because I'm listening to this stuff. But then again, that's subjective, sure, you know, because I like certain kinds of music, and I get all kinds of stuff. I tried to put the criteria up. It's like, look, if you can pull it off acoustically, come on the show.
Right.
And you wouldn't believe some of the submissions I get. I mean, like full-blown rock bands, Chip. I mean, just like, you know, it's like distorted, you know, heavy metal type stuff. And then I get like, you know, hip-hop and rap stuff that I'm like, well, how are you? I mean, yeah, you could pull it off acoustically, but you've got all these like drum tracks and kind of stuff behind it that it's like, you know, you're going to have to bring in some acoustic drums. I don't want an electronic, you know, type of...
Come on, Mitch. We need acoustic hip-hop.
Well,
if they, yeah,
you know, if they pull it off...
We need to pioneer this.
Well,
WNJR, acoustic hip-hop.
I've heard what John Trudell, so
yeah,
poet, right? And,
yeah, yeah.
And with Quiltman on a Native American drum,
mm-hmm,
and the two of them just could captivate a big room. But
now there's a guy who's an activist, huh?
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Russell Means. These are guys I hung around with in L.A. But Russell was him and Byard Johnson, a good friend of mine is Byard, and they made a production company that they did Timothy Leary's last album, the last 6 months of his life.
Oh really?
Yeah. Entertaining.
I saw John Trudell. I had never heard of him, and I went to the WOMAD Festival when it came through Pittsburgh in probably '94, and I think it was the Bombs Over Baghdad tune that I remember hearing, and then I was just blown away. And then I've, you know, read about him and, you know, watched a few things and those guys. So how do you feel about? I just read an article in E! Magazine about environmental activism, and you know, what are your thoughts on, you know, what's happening out there right now?
Yeah, I'm not a militant, so I believe in nonviolence, and people are, if they're expressing their you know, if they're expressing their activist intentions in a nonviolent manner, I'm okay. And if they, you know, it's a tough line. I will not go and actively like sabotage equipment or something like that. You'll hear me. I write songs. I'll sing something. I've been fired out of bars for playing that song "Where Have the Mountains Gone." So you know that we each find our own way. I went to the 100th Monkey event. You know, that was at the Nevada test site in the early '90s, and my job there was to play music to get people to go and do civil disobedience and encourage them to walk across the border, and I, you know, I did that, but I didn't walk across the border. It wasn't the thing I was.
Was that Mike Roselle thing? Was he involved in that? I started reading a book he wrote, and he was talking about that, how he first got involved in that.
Yeah, I think there was somebody else, I can't remember the name of it, but the fellow actually hurt their movement quite a bit, was the guy that broke the statue of an eagle while Reagan was giving a speech. And a piece of it bounced off of Reagan's head in Las Vegas, and that was... whoever that was the organizer of this event. That other fellow was probably involved.
This was later. This was later. I think this was in the '90s, where they were trying to stop an underground test or something like that, and they actually got on the base. You know, they had all this stuff, and the same guys are down there on, you know, the mountaintop removal site, chaining themselves to bulldozers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think, and again, that's our they're not. That doesn't sound violent and dangerous, and yet I'm a little uncomfortable with you know, I think we each have to find our own tactic of what we're comfortable doing, and support each other, and I just think we should make sure to not demonize the other side to the point we can't have a dialogue. But I think we have to stop the practice of mountaintop